and welcome to LC Science channel. And as you're back, I know that you are trying to improve yourself, or at least trying to know the different ways you can improve your personality and be successful. It's actually very easy, you know. There are just four pillars. Four pillars of success are perseverance, patience, passion, and professionalism. They are not in any particular order, but are equally important for your holistic development and also to create a great personality that everybody would love. You should not skip any part of this video because I would be walking you through each of these pillars in a lot of detail. I would also tell you how you can master each of these pillars and inculcate them in your personality so that in future you can be a successful man or a woman. When I was starting my career, I didn't have a guidance counselor, and as I have made a lot of mistakes, you don't need to. Just follow along and I will try to make it as simple as possible to make you as successful as you really are born to be. So the first pillar that we're going to talk about is going to be patience. Man, being a social animal, has to survive with a lot of people in the society. So you have to make sure that you do not try to hasten people. That is one of the characteristics of a shallow man. A shallow man would always try to push things through, never thinks much, and just wants a quick result. You should not be like that. You have to have a lot of patience. And patience is a virtue. Patience is what gets a farmer his crops and helps you make a lot of money in the future. Now, talking about money, that is something that we should definitely hit upon in our future series. Patience being a very important part of the journey, you have to make sure that you master every aspect of patience. You have to be patient when you're studying. You have to be patient when you're gaining knowledge. Without patience, there is not much that differentiates a human being from an animal. So just try to hone your patience skills. You should be halfway through. Patience is important when you are listening to somebody. So that makes it all the more important. When you start working, make sure that you are a good listener. That's one good important trait that every employer wants from their employee. Similarly, every manager needs to be a patient listener. There is no alternative to being a good listener because when you listen, it's only then that you gain some knowledge. So patience is something that you have to work on. It is a conscious effort. You should make sure that you never talk over anybody else. That's where your trait of patience starts. So this is something that you have to make a habit of. You have to slowly practice this and make sure you become an expert in this. So let the other person finish what they say, and when you let them do so, you will get an equal opportunity to talk and put your point across to them. This will automatically create an impulse in their mind that you are a good listener. You have given them a fair option to talk about their point or their point of view, and that creates a sense of equality, and they in turn would reward you by listening into what you say. So as you can see, that patience is a very important part of your character. Even in your financial life, you have to be a lot patient. If you are an investor in the stock market, you need to be patient as well. If you start taking decisions on momentary analysis without being patient, you will lose a lot of money in the future. The next pillar that we are going to talk about is perseverance. Perseverance is one of the most important traits that a person should have. If you don't have perseverance, you will not be able to iterate through the different ups and downs of life. You have to persevere towards a certain amount of quality in your work and certain amount of clarity in your thought. So those two important things will make you a complete individual. All employers appreciate perseverance. That's a fact. There is no denying it. When you're working on a problem, it's perseverance that will take you through. You will iterate over the solution, and you will keep working on it until you come up with some good solution that solves the problem. And that is what will differentiate you from the rest of the crowd. So start inculcating the habit of perseverance. Whenever you're faced with a problem, try to think it over. Try to sleep over it, but do not forget it or do not put it back in a back burner, because that's the worst thing that you do. Procrastination is something that people do not appreciate. This is a very bad habit where people keep pushing their timelines, people keep pushing their work into the future. They just think that if there is a problem and they push it back into the future, they are not going to have to face it. But you should realize that any problem, when faced head on, is easy to solve. Perseverance acts as a catalyst in this process. Imagine Edison. If he did not persevere to solve the problem of the light bulb, he wouldn't have succeeded in giving the world the first bulb that could work with the filament. I mean, imagine if he would have given up after the first failure, right? Thinking that it's just not possible. What would have happened to this world? We are a community surviving on artificial light. Imagine half your day would not be productive at all. So make sure you work on perseverance. Now that you have made through to this part of the video, I'm sure you're enjoying it. And you just have to follow along for 2 more pillars of success. The next pillar of success that we will talk about is professionalism. If you're not professional, you are nowhere, my friend. So make sure professionalism becomes a very important part of your life. What is professionalism? Professionalism is an attitude. Professionalism is a habit. Professionalism is what sets you apart from the rest of the population. How can you be professional? You have to separate your emotions from what is going on. You have to make sure that you act as an individual who is dedicated towards the solution and not the way to the solution. There would be people around you who would make fun of you. There would be people around you who would talk about you behind your back. There would be people around you who would criticize you for no fault of yours. But you have to be professional in your career, in your college, in your social circle, just to make sure that you know what your goal is and you're working towards your goal always. You should not be distracted, and that is what adds to your professionalism. There would be instances in your life where the people who had criticized you would be expected to work alongside you, or may have to report into you, or you may have to report into them. So that is where professionalism comes into the picture. You cannot have your ego work against you, telling you not to listen to the person or not to be kind to them. You have to ensure that you are always professional. You have to ensure that whatever work has been trusted to you is always delivered. There should be no scope for ego to creep in. There should be no scope for any kind of misbehavior that might cause a lot of concern in any organization. So as you can see, you have to be professional. You have to show up every day in your office. You have to be present whenever there is a need, and you have to make sure that your ego is kept out when you're stepping in. So now that you know what you need to do about professionalism, there is just one more pillar to go. This pillar of success is the 4th pillar and is one of the most important parts of the human race. This is what has kept our human race growing and evolving through these years of evolution. The 4th pillar of success is passion. When you're passionate about something, you don't need to be told by anybody to complete the work. For example, if I am passionate about making videos, then I don't have to be told by somebody else to come and create these videos on a day-to-day basis. I am driven by the cause. I want to help people. So you should look for your cause and you should look to focus on that. But as people say that if it is related to your profession, then it becomes fun. People who have worked on their passion and made money out of it have gone ahead to become billionaires in this world. Passion is what keeps us going. So give in to passion. Make sure you nurture it. Make sure you make it grow. But you have to identify that. And to identify it, you have to study a lot. You have to increase your knowledge on subjects, and only then you can single out something that you're passionate about. Just look at all the global leaders in technology. They are passionate about one thing. Google was passionate about search. They made sure that all the World Wide Web's pages were indexed, and that's not an easy task. They iterated over the problem, and now they are the leader. And they have been a leader for the last 20 years. But just go back to those days when internet was making its entry into the world. We had something called Yahoo search engine. Does anybody remember about that search engine now? It's Google who has won over the market because they're passionate about their customers. They know what their customers want from them, and they have delivered. They have worked towards it continuously and are working towards it. They're not complacent. They didn't just sit down and say that, okay, we have won the market, try to beat us, but they always have kept their differentiator in the marketplace. You have to be passionate about your work, your career, or maybe a hobby that you have. So that brings us to the conclusion of this video. Now that you have been armed with these 4 pillars of success, it is up to you to practice them on a daily basis. If you have found that there is some gap in my communication, please make sure you comment below and I will make sure that I get back to you. So hope you have enjoyed this video, and make sure you have subscribed this channel, as I will be posting more videos about making you successful throughout your life. So if there is a family or friend who is in need of advice, make sure to share this channel with them so that you can help more people. Hope to see you in the next video. Signing off now, it's LC Sayan. Thank you for watching.